Now onto a more pleasant note. Speaking of former WWE women's superstars, the current and reigning IWGP World Women's Champion Mercedes Moné had a lot to say at a recent appearance at the Kansas City Comic Con. She talked about how she would be interested in possibly retiring Mickie James, and she even dropped a little subtle hint that she would be interested in appearing at Forbidden Door 2. So, two questions. Do you believe that Mercedes Moné should retire Mickie James? That's one. And two, if Mercedes Moné appears at Forbidden Door 2, who should she face? Should it be Jamie Hayter, the AEW World Women's Champion, or Jade Cargill, the AEW TBS Champion?
Those are excellent questions. All right, let's start with the first one. Should she retire Mickie James? There's no other female in this position that I think is more worthy than Sasha, because Sasha like is the biggest name in women's wrestling, like period. Like she's on her level. Sasha Banks has a Hall of Fame worthy career, and she's 30, 31 years old. Like she's young.
Yeah.
She's very young. You know, and like again, she's at the height of her career where the level of hype for Sasha Banks, even though the fucking internet marks keep saying that her hype died out, you know, go to hell, by the way. I feel like she's on that level of Trish at her peak, Mickie at her peak, Lita at her peak. And I feel like you need to ride off of this high. And I feel like that's such an amazing way to just add on to the Mercedes Moné character, in my personal opinion, because yeah, she swapped names and she jumped promotions, but she don't really have bad blood with WWE. She has bad blood with one individual in WWE. You know what I'm saying? She still respects WWE as a whole, and she loves her roots and she loves everything that is given her. You know? So I feel like it's very fitting for Mickie James to retire with someone that she already has worked with, that she already heavily admires, who Sasha already admires. Like, it's very much mutual on both ends. And I feel like it would just make sense to solidify a legend that is Sasha Banks by retiring the legend that is Mickie James. I feel like Sasha is almost like a modern day Trish to us wrestling fans. Like everywhere she goes, it's hype. It's hype, you know? I feel like you get that same feeling when you got Mickie versus Trish out of that, or like Trish versus Lita, if you give the fans that. And it's going to be so fun because it's like, we wanted this in WWE. We want a real feud one-on-one with them in WWE. But now we're getting them translated into different characters. You know, we have the hardcore country, Mickie James, essentially. Yeah. And then we have Mercedes Moné. So I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be epic. And it's fitting. Because, yeah, I've been questioning to myself, too, who else is worthy of taking Mickie out the game? You can't be mad hanging your hat on that. I sure as hell wouldn't be.
That's a fact. So
that's how I feel about that. And then to answer your second question, would I prefer Jade or Jamie Hayter? If I'm going for the match where I feel like you could create more interesting promos and hype based off the characters, I would say Jade, easily. And also the impact, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there was a certain type of energy that was just going across the room and in the air when we got Sasha versus Bianca, because of how historic that was and just how tear-jerking it was for us, you know, us Black wrestling fans. And I feel like that could be another moment that could be created for AEW, putting those two together. Because I feel like the reason why a lot of people like Jade, even though Jade didn't like come into wrestling because of Sasha or whatever, I feel like they see little glimpses of her in Sasha with like just the way she carries herself, you know? And I feel like that would just make really like good for TV purposes, because Jade came up because she already had like a padded resume. You know, she has a master's degree, she's a mom, she played basketball and all that stuff, model, like she does it all. and she just kind of came right in and is dominated. So she already has her story lined up, whereas you had the opposite Sasha, who literally had to just like crawl through the gutters and work her way up.
Right.
And now her name is bigger than all these companies combined. At least that's the way I fucking feel like. To me, there's so much that you could put in there and so much ego that could be thrown into the storyline that really could make it like sassy, make it funny, make you like want to choose a side here. Whereas with Jamie and Jamie and Mercedes, I feel like you would get an excellent wrestling match. You probably would get the better wrestling match if you're going for just that. It's just that with Jamie, I don't feel like there's as much depth with her character. I feel like we like her unanimously because she's one of the best wrestlers out of her entire division. She's been a very decent champion so far. We love her look and the way she expresses herself. I just think the build to get there is just not going to be as interesting. You're going to be hyped because the name's there, but you're just not. But you're going to wait till the match. So it depends on like what's really your cup of tea. Are you there for the entertainment factor? Because me personally, I kind of would be there for the entertainment factor, and I feel like I could see a lot of personality being shown in the ring more so if I was watching Jade and Sasha. I could definitely see some shit talking in between and some funny ass lines that can be memed through them wrestling. I don't think you're going to get that with Jamie and Sasha or Jamie Mercedes. So my pick, just because I want to see like a show, I kind of want to go with Jade. I feel like that would help both their resumes so that, it would pad up Jade's, whether she wins or loses. And Sasha, you can't really like lose with this, in my personal opinion. Jamie, she could get that match. It'll pad her resume. Do I think it's going to elevate Jamie? I don't really know. So I'm going to go with Jade. What do you think?
So, as far as the first question, I think that you're right. Mercedes Mone should be the person that retires Mickie James. I think that there is no greater woman on the independent wrestling scene that is qualified enough to retire Mickie James but Mercedes Mone. Hall of Fame career, current reigning IWGP World Women's Champion. You can make the argument that I feel like Mercedes is going to go on a very Kenny Omega-esque run as far as her matches outside of WWE is concerned, as far as like the quality of matches, the type of matches that she's going for, the fact that I feel like she's going to be a belt collector as well. So I think that's one thing. The second thing is that I feel like when it comes to Mercedes and at the Forbidden Door too, I think that it should be Jamie Hayter that she faces because of the style of wrestling that Mercedes Moné is engaged in outside of WWE. I feel like she's been obviously with the matches she had with Kyrie. It's very strong style. It's very hard hitting. It's very powerful. And I think that style of wrestling is going to, bid well against someone like a Jamie Hayter versus someone like a Jade. However, I do believe that Mercedes should cross paths with both Jade and Jamie Hayter. I think that her and Jamie Hayter should be a Forbidden Door 2 match, and I believe that her and Jade should main event Dynamite. Because I feel like both matches just need to happen at some point. Because I just feel like Jade and Sasha have very, very special energy. But as far as Forbidden Door, I think it just makes sense that you put the World Women's Champion of one company against the World Women's Champion of another company. That's just my opinion.
When you say book one for Dynamite, when you say book for Dynamite and for Forbidden Door, you're not talking about the same time period, right?
No, not the same time period. Because I feel like I mean, I don't know what the result would be of Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes would be, but I just don't want Mercedes losing 2 in a row. I feel like that's not the way
that's why I mentioned.
Yeah, but I feel like eventually it has to happen. But
I mean, that'd be good storytelling if down the line Jay did become world champion and Sasha did have the privilege to meet up with her again. Like, I think that'd build more hype. Jade is still working on herself in the ring. If Jade was more sharp in the ring, I would easily say Jade, but I respect your reasoning entirely because if you're trying to go off of logic, then yes, the world champion should be versing the world champion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, but I want to know what everybody else's opinions are regarding Mercedes Moné and her potential Forbidden Door 2 appearance, as well as if she should retire Mickie James. But we're moving on. So,